For this first project, we learned how to take an existing model and clean it up in ZBrush. This shell model had a lot of extra floating bits, so we cleaned it up in ZBrush and re-topologized it, redid the UVs using Z-Remesher and UV Master, and then we decimated it as well. We also learned how to use the projection tool to directly project a texture onto the model. So here you see me lining up the image of the shell with the model and then spray painting it so that the texture sticks on that model. Did a couple passes here with the 4 different reference photos, and then went in and did some cleanup around the areas that didn't get spray painted. Then lastly, I went in and did a dirt generator just to add a little bit of extra contrast in the crevices of the shell. For the toy project, we got more experience cleaning up models in ZBrush. This model was from a 2D scan from the library, and it was a soft model, so some parts of it obviously didn't stay rigid, and there's a little bit of ghosting in some areas. So you see me here going in, smoothing out and cleaning up some of those areas that have the ghosting. And you can see here some of the areas that I fixed. The texture got a bit messed up, so we had to take it into Substance Painter and fill in those missing areas. I also went in and further refined some areas of the texture and darkened up some crevices using a generator. For the library scan cleanup project, we got a personal object scanned with a 2D scanner, and then we got that raw data sent back to us, and we had to do the same workflows that we did for the toy and the shell, cleaning up the mesh, decimating it, retopologizing, redoing the UVs, just making a cleaner model, and then projecting those details onto a low poly version of the model. My scan did not come back with RGB data, so I had to hand paint the textures. I found all of the hex codes for all the paint colors on my object, and then went ahead and made separate layers for each of those colors. And then I went in and just painted those colors where they belonged on the model. Then here is that finished model. For the Henderson Scan project, we learned how to use scan data as a reference for hard modeling. This is one of the scans. For this room, I was responsible for modeling the floor and the tables. I also modeled a table that was out in the hallway of the building. And that is it here. For the Faro laser scanning project, we learned how to use a Faro scanner, and my teammate and I decided to scan our studio space. We learned how to process the point cloud data in Faro Scene and how to turn the scene into a mesh. Here is a walkthrough of our scan data in Maya. And lastly, the Addedsoft photogrammetry project. For this project, the class learned how to create a 3D model using photogrammetry. My teammate and I decided to do something more simple. We did a rock. We took about 180 photos. First step here, we are using Agisoft Metashape to process our data. So the first thing we do is import the images and then create masks. Agisoft is pretty smart, so it's able to generate some pretty decent masks automatically. After those are done, we align the images. When the images are aligned, the camera rotations will also show up, so you can see the path of your camera in relation to the object. This object could use a couple more photos, but it worked out well. After this, I clean up some of the outlying points, and then we went into generating the model itself. After the model was generated, we closed any holes that were in the model and also got rid of any extra floating pieces of the mesh. When the mesh is made, it will automatically generate a starting texture, but this doesn't have all of the detail that is seen in the photos. So in order to do that, we have to generate a texture onto the model. And you can see here the texture is much better. Before we export, we have to decimate the model and retexture it. So I decimated it to around 45,000 faces. After this, I exported the mesh and put it into Substance Painter to fix some of the roughness maps. The rock was way too shiny. Here I put a dirt generator just so we can change the roughness in some of the crevices and also some of the highlights. Then I went in and painted areas where the rock was really shiny and adjusted the roughness. Here's the final product.